Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to Rotary Pickleball Day and Luncheon. So to start things off today, we have our talented Charlie Robin, and we have sound that needs to be, just like that, magic. Yeah, I just wave my wand. Okay. All right, the national anthem performed by Charlie Robin and Bob Hamilton, and if you'd like to stand, please.
Oh, sir, can you see by the star's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey, very nice. So one thing I forgot to do, I forgot to ring the bell with my paddle. So we are officially in session here. Our invocation today will be given by Jan Luring.
Thank you, President Rick. Wow, what a crowd. This is awesome. They really are excited about the speaker, I know. Well, first of all, let's thank President Rick for starting off a great year. Thanks, Greg. I got my husband, my conscience is sitting right here. Can you hear me now? Raise your hand if you cannot hear me. Oh. Okay, maybe you want to not hear me. Anyway, the first thing I want to say today is, aren't we lucky to have such a gloriously beautiful valley? As I was driving in, I started to park the car, and I thought, you know what, I'm early. I'm going to drive around one more time and celebrate the sunshine. I know it was a little hot last weekend. We had company, terribly hot. They live in La Quinta, California, the one hot weekend of the year. They're here. But now it's 75 today, and perfect, and we need to be incredibly grateful. The second thing we're grateful for is Mr. Frank Pritchard and his beautiful wife, Teresa. Frank is speaking to us today on a fun subject, which I know we all need, pickleball, and its anniversary and everything he knows about it. I'd like you to raise your hand if you have ever played pickleball. Oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that. I feel like a slob. I haven't played. Half of this room have played pickleball. Oh my gosh. Well, then you know a lot. And we're going to learn more. I have embellished a small prayer today that some of you may consider trite. Some of you may own it just a bit because it doesn't say pickleball in the prayer, but it does talk about sport. So if you so choose, and I say if you so choose, bow your heads, please. Lord, I will take this time to pray before I start to play. Today I'm feeling very blessed, and I want to do my very best. Thanks for the ability and skill you've given me. Should I win, I will be kind to those who challenged me. Should I lose when I compete, help me please to accept defeat. And finally, Lord, I pray that I will play again another day. Amen. Thank you for listening. Enjoy your speaker and have a wonderful day.
Kind of sounded like a competitor's prayer. We should all take it to heart. So at this point, I'd like to ask all of our guests who are here today to stand and be recognized and acknowledged. So do we have some guests? I know Frank's a guest. Yeah, up, you stand, let's see. Up. Thank you for coming to Rotary Day. We appreciate your presence here and hope you enjoy a fun program. So, last Tuesday, we had the groundbreaking of the marketplace. And I don't know, did I see John Ball here? All right. John, I don't know why I'm up here. I mean, this is your project. You kicked it off. And I got to hold a shovel for some reason. I think because you might be passing it off to me to finish up, but I don't know. So some nice photos of that morning, and if you've been by there, the excavation has already begun, and we're off and running, and we will get it done. All right. And thank you, John Ball, for leading the charge to get it done. Next up, I'm going to talk about the Rotary Picnic. We have it scheduled for September 1st, and more details will come, but you'll find on your tables some pieces of paper that are asking you to indicate whether you're going to attend, and I think also if you have an interest in playing some pickleball. We'll try to add that to the picnic this year. Still working out the details. Looks like we have some help from Sig Fossum and the Sport House with rackets and balls. If you've never played before, the equipment will be provided for you. And of course, the experts who play all the time, we invite you to come as well. It'll give us an idea of how many courts we need to reserve, and I think you can bring your I think there's an age limit on the sign up there. But let's have a good time with pickleball and picnic. I think they go together pretty well, and that's at Franklin Park, September 1st.
Rick, what time does that start? It's not on the sheet.
The pickleball part? I think in the past we started around 5 o'clock. It's not set yet, but that's my memory and expectation. So we'll see. We'll get it out to you. Well, let me ask I think a question was already asked, but and there's the sheet on your table to sign up, but just a first response. How many of you think you will be at the picnic and would like to play pickleball on September 1st? Could you raise your hands? Okay, that's a good start. Thank you. All right, next we're going to have a Rotary Speed interview, and it's going to be based on pickleball. So for those of you who haven't been here before, we're going to have a 1-minute opportunity to interview someone at your table. The theme is find a person at your table who has played pickleball, and if there's more than one person at the table, find out who played it first, who started playing pickleball first. If you don't have, I think Frank Pritchard wins at this table. He's going to be interviewed by a scribe. Somebody at the table, pick up a pen. You can use the back side of the sign-up sheet for the picnic to write down notes, because you're going to ask everything you can, get as much information about that person. Is that clear? It's a little bit different. Find your pickleball player who started first. Have a scribe. Get as much information as you can in 1 minute. So we are going to start. As soon as I get it ready, you're getting a head start now on me. All right, we're starting. Ask away. Seconds. Whoops. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are done with the interviews, and now we are going to interview the scribe. So, Carolyn, why don't you pick whatever table you'd like?
But it's a state sport.
All right, Leanne, stand up so we can see you. I can see you.
Is it on? Yeah. Okay, so Celisa Hopkins, she played pickleball in 2001.
Whoa.
So over 20 years ago. At a friend's family cabin on Camino Island. She said she was not skilled. It takes a lot of hand-eye coordination in order to be successful.
All right, Lorna, you can pick a table.
Yeah, pickleball. Of course.
Looks like Kevin Good. Yes.
Okay,
Stand up, Kevin.
I have nothing written down because we were in between two folks. So I'm going to pick the one I know the most about. All right, so Sean Kinney started playing in 1998, plays every week. No, he doesn't play every week. That's probably the one and only time other than maybe 2016. So Sean is the CFO out spinner. He has 4 children and a lovely wife. He's very committed to the game of golf and helps us out a lot out at the country club, especially with the greens renovation this year. Been a member of Rotary since 2014. Got me by a year on that one. Sagittarius. What else? Scorpio. Anyway, Sean Kinney.
All right, thank you. Thank you. And we'll have one more. Looks like we've got a candidate here. Bob Gerst. Hi, sorry, I introduced you.
So there is no one at our table that has ever played, and we are quite surprised because look at the table, and we determined that pickleball is for a bunch of old people, and so we, however, we had a volunteer in terms of that, and that was Gail, and she made the so astute observation that pickleball is all about a ball, not a pickle. There is a come on, you know, at least, yeah. There is a racket that is involved with it, yes, so she's right on that. We did notice that there's a downside to it because there never appears to be any drinking involved, and that excludes it as a, and the one thing that we have, and Frank, you'll have to tell us if this is correct, we decided that it can be played with 2 individuals or 4 individuals, and I think that the 4 is called mixed doubles, and we decided that one of the rules for the mixed doubles means that there are 2 people that actually know what they're doing and 2 people from this table here that don't know a thing. So, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Now, something tells me, and thank you, Carolyn, thank you, Lorna, for picking out such great tables. Next we have, and I don't know about you, but there might be some kind of a theme attached to Sergeant of Arms today, but we'll find out. So we have a dynamic duo of Nancy Leahy and Phil Fossum.
Well, good day, Rotarians. I'm Nancy, and I'm a newer pickleball player, transitioning from tennis.
And I'm Phil Fossum, retired Rotarian and an experienced pickleball player.
I'd like to thank the entire Sergeant at Arms Committee for being up and about to collect money for charity. We need this for our Rotary work. Now, we have information about pickleball and some kind of dinky, tricky ways to encourage you to pay $1.
Okay, folks, what's all the pizzazz about pickleball? Pickleball is an exciting, and I won't say new, racket sport that is sweeping the nation and was created by our guest speaker today. Players use a paddle and a wiffle ball, and the game is played over a net, and the game is similar to tennis. The beauty of the game is the pickleball court is half the size of a tennis court, which means for those of us who are over 55, it's a great game to get a little exercise in. And I currently play with 3 people that are in their 80s, an 82 and 2 84-year-olds. So everybody here is eligible.
Now, would everybody who's played pickleball please stand up? Let's see those heroes. I know the hands went up. Let's see the feet up. Okay, everyone not standing pays $1. Because this is your opportunity to learn today.
Okay, for demonstration, on your table is a pickleball paddle and a pickleball. Paddles run anywhere from around $65 at Dick's to around $125, $150 at Sport House. And is Sig here today? Sport House, I'm going to fine you $1, Sig, for the plug. And if you want to get a real expensive one, you can go online and get one of the pro models at $300. So I'd like you to pick up those paddles, see what they are, pass them around, pass the balls around, please, and zip them around the table.
Zip them around here for just a few minutes so that everybody has a chance to touch the ball, touch the racket, keep it moving, keep it going. Don't slow down because you only have about 20 seconds until the whistle blows. Okay, stop right there. If you're holding the pickleball or the racket, you pay $1. Because you just had an opportunity to witness what pickleball is like.
Okay, so today we're talking about pickleball. It's quick, it's lively, it's a game of skill. It brings friends together, produces laughter, provides exercise, and hopefully is fun for everyone.
And really, the sport's economical. So now let's take a look at the pickleball puzzle. How do you play the game, and what are the rules?
Okay, as I said, pickleball is played on a court half the size of a tennis court. We usually play doubles, so there is half as much running for us mature folks. You play to 11, and you earn points when your side is serving. In doubles, each player gets a chance to serve, and you have to serve underhand, so there's no big smashing tennis-type serves. It's easy, and it's a lot of fun. Now, the major difference, though, between pickleball and tennis is in pickleball, there's a line that is 7 feet back from the net. And that area between the net and that line is called the kitchen. And you can't go in the kitchen. It's a fault and the point goes the other team if you step in the kitchen, Nancy.
Well, let's just hold it right here. Right now, I cannot go in the kitchen. Friends, if you would take a look at this picture of my children with Phil and I, they are larger human beings, and the kitchen is very important to them. You have to come with me when we're telling them that I can't go in the kitchen anymore.
No, thank you.
I think, now please, would you pay $1 if you want mothers to go in the kitchen? Please pay $1 for all the mothers you want to go in the kitchen. I ask you, please.
Okay. I'm sorry, Nancy. Rules are rules. There is one exception to not going in the kitchen rule, and that is if the ball bounces in the kitchen first, then you can step in there.
Good, thank you.
Now, rules are an important part of every game. Pickleball rules are straightforward and match other racket games. Now, let's give these folks a look at these rules for serving. They're very simple and easy.
I was just reading the serving rules. There's 12 rules for serving the ball, and it looks like it's going to take me to 100 to learn all these rules, and we haven't even gotten to volleys and faults and scoring yet.
Tell you what, I'll put some Post-its on the back of your racket so you know how to hit the ball.
Oh, man, and it says hit the ball on it. Okay, please pay $1 if you ever use Post-its to remind yourself of something.
Great strategy. One of the real strategies of pickleball is called the third shop, drop, volley. And that's a strategy that works really great.
I already know how to do this third shot, drop, volley. I'm pretty good at it. It's the fun one, and I can do it right here.
Really? Right now in the meeting? No.
You wait. Oh, you watch. Okay, shot one. Second shot. Third shot. Drop.
Nancy, are you okay? Come on. Come on, up you go.
Did we win?
Well, not that point, but we might win the game. Let's skip the rest of the rules and move on.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, but wait. There's one more thing. You haven't told them how to dress for pickleball.
Well, Nancy, it's really simple. You can wear anything you want.
Anything? What?
Well, it says anything you want as long as it's in good taste.
Oh. Well, thanks for your support, Rotarians. We appreciate you hanging in there with us. Now let's hit the courts and play some pickleball fun.
Didn't realize we were going to have some pickleball thespians up here, so great. Thank you very much. I think we raised quite a bit of money. Is there anyone in here who didn't get fined? Don't raise your hand because you will be. Okay. All right. Okay. That brings us to Casey Core, who is going to introduce our speaker, who we already have a little bit of information about, I think. All right.
Hello, everybody. How did a backyard game become a sport that today is played across the world by millions of people? And this year it became the official sport of Washington State. How did a game with a quirky name, pickleball, become the fastest growing sport in America? Our next speaker, Frank Pritchard, can answer those questions because he was present at the creation. Or maybe he was the cause of the creation when one day in 1965, as a 13-year-old, he complained to his dad that there was nothing to do at the summer home on Bainbridge Island. I'd like to think that if Frank had not once been a cranky, crabby, complaining kid, we wouldn't have pickleball today. Or maybe that's being unfair to Frank, who today, let's be clear, is nothing like that teenager. Frank is a charming friend and a great storyteller. And maybe, too, that would be unfair to the history of pickleball itself. In any case, Frank is about to sort this out and tell you how it all began. Are you ready? It's the absolutely true and improbable rise of pickleball. Our speaker is the son of the late Seattle Congressman and Lieutenant Governor Joel Pritchard, who co-founded pickleball with two friends. Frank Pritchard is a graduate of the University of Puget Sound, an Army veteran, and a former banker. He most recently retired from Nordstrom, where he led the opening of several stores. He is married to one of our favorite Rotarians, Teresa Pritchard. Teresa and Frank have lived in Yakima since 2006. So please give a rousing Rotary welcome to my friend and today's speaker, Frank Pritchard.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Casey. And it's great to be here. I want to kind of say right off the bat, my grandfather, my uncle, and my father were all Rotarians. So
we go way back, and I know they're looking down and saying, don't screw this up. So I think there's a video that Como TV did. Eric Johnson came over and interviewed me several weeks ago, and it'll kind of covers a lot of stuff. So I think, why don't we run that, and then
some of Eric's heroes, and tonight a piece of Northwest history that's exploded into a worldwide phenomenon.
It really has. It's amazing what's happened. It's so fun to look back at a moment of true invention and inspiration. And tonight, 3 guys who put their heads together 57 years ago are my heroes. The summer of '65 was warmer than most, and the ferry ride away from the Emerald City on lush and idyllic Bainbridge Island, lucky families like the Pritchards came to homes like this one to vacation on the water and enjoy good living.
I'm announcing officially today.
Joel Pritchard was a congressman from the state of Washington, a man of ideas. He was a tad absent-minded with an eye for good fun. His oldest son, Frank, who now lives in Yakima, turned 13 years old that year, and he did not want to be on Bainbridge Island.
I didn't want to go over there. All my friends, my school friends, were in Seattle. And we would move there all for the entire summer.
Joel Pritchard's good friend was Bill Bell. Bill's son, Joel Bell, was just a toddler that summer.
There would be Olympics for the kids. There would be sort of, a lot of fort building, driftwood on the beach.
It was a golden time. There were card games and boats, cocktails and walks on the beach, and a batch of bored kids looking for something to do.
It was a beautiful day. I'm standing on the steps, and I turned to him and I said, I hate it here. There's nothing to do. And he said, when we were kids here, we used to make games up. And I said, oh, really? Why don't you go make a game up then?
Why don't you make up a game, man? It was a flippant remark, but Joel Pritchard took it as a challenge. There was a patch of asphalt on the property being used as a badminton court. Somewhere laying around was a ball. Somewhere inside the mind of Joel Pritchard was inspired genius.
The ball was a wiffle ball, and it was just lying there on the lawn. And my dad he said, okay. And he picked that ball up, and he marched up. My grandfather had kind of a tool shed workshop thing in the back apartment. And he went up there, and I didn't know what he was doing.
Bill Bell got involved. Rules were conjured from thin air. They lowered the badminton net. Joel Pritchard cobbled together crude paddles.
So a little while later, I walked up to the badminton court, and here's Bill Bell and my dad, and they're hitting this ball around, and they're talking. And then I remember my father saying, you know what we need? We need Barney.
Barney McCallum lived a few houses down in this home. He refined the rules and greatly improved the paddles.
And I just went in and got a piece of 3/8 plywood and cut paddles. I did that on the bandsaw. And this is probably an example of the ugliest paddle that was ever built.
Barney would become the first evangelist for the game. The 3 men, Pritchard, McCallum, and Bell, seen here years later, created a game that day. They also created a legend. That's Joel Pritchard in whites playing his game. It became their own little pastime, the 3 families on Bainbridge. Barney McCallum built a court on his property. It's still there today. There was always a game going on. That's little Joel Bell and his big brother Bill and Bill Bell Sr. There's Frank Pritchard teamed up with his dad, who couldn't be bothered to find matching shoes and socks. And that's Joanne Pritchard on the right, Joel's wife. Joanne loved crew racing. The University of Washington crew team had an A boat and a B boat. The leftovers rode in what was known as the pickle boat.
And her thinking was, well, this is sort of part of this game and part of that game. We're just throwing everything together, so it's sort of pickleball.
And so this made-up, ad-libbed, one-off lark of a game had a name, Pickleball. 3 years later, the Pritchards got a dog and named it Pickles. The dog was named after the game, not the other way around. Scott and Carol Stover started coming around on Bainbridge in '67. That's Carol there and Scott playing pickleball.
Well, I think it just was an innocent spirit.
people were just playing games. It wasn't with any intent that this is going to be the biggest, hottest thing in the world.
When Barney McCallum started marketing the game in the 70s, they were featured on the original box. The Stovers are now the owners of that first court, and they have kept it intact.
I love the fact that it's the original. It hasn't been redone. It needs some help, but then it wouldn't be the original court anymore. So we've kept it as is.
The original court is important because something incredible has happened. In the last few years, pickleball has exploded like a supernova. It's a smash hit full of smash hits. There are leagues everywhere, 5 million players in the U.S. alone. It is the fastest growing sport in America. How big is it? This big.
A Washington State congressman and a friend invented this tennis-like sport in 1965 to entertain their bored families. Josh.
It's pickleball.
Very popular, that's it.
People like Frank Ciccone say it's changed their lives.
I wake up in the morning and think, where am I going to play pickleball today? And if I'm not playing pickleball, I'm thinking about pickleball, or I'm organizing pickleball, or whatever. It has consumed my life, and I'm so thrilled for it.
And people like James Owen continue adding to the rules of the game.
First rule, have fun. Second rule, if any rule conflicts with rule number 1, it's not a rule.
And so not long ago, Governor Jay Inslee showed up on Bainbridge Island at that original court.
London can have Wimbledon. Rome can have the Colosseum. We have the epicenter of the sporting world today at the pickleball court, where it all started in Bainbridge Island.
He made a proclamation.
And we are here to make the state sport of the state of Washington pickleball at long last. What a great day.
All because of a happy accident, because of bored kids and cool dads and a spirit of adventure.
When you think about it, a kid.
I'm so proud. I'll tell you, my father would be so thrilled that this thing has given so much pleasure to so many people. You know, it has impacted people's lives in a good way.
Monotony is the mother of invention. In the summer of '65 on Bainbridge Island, when the Pritchards, the Bells, and the McCallums enjoyed good living and made up a game that might just last forever.
Eric, the things a parent will do to quiet a child who keeps chirping that they're bored.
A whiny kid, right?
That's incredible.
I should point out, you can't patent the rules of the game. So the kids of the 3 founders have not gotten rich because of pickleball.
Tell me about it.
They are very, very proud.
The whole world has gotten rich from.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Any questions? Okay. I want to say, too, that Eric Johnson, who did that piece, is as nice as he seems. He really worked hard to get it right, which I really appreciated. Because I don't know if you know, but there's some controversy about how the game was named. And an awful lot of people think, oh, it was named for that cute little dog they had. No, wrong. In fact, I have some things here I want to read that grind me. So this is why I exist. Even pickleball's originators, pictured below with their families, actually, we weren't in the picture, so I don't know where they're coming up with that. This was in Parade last Sunday, I think, or the Sunday before. Couldn't agree on where the name came from, and now they've moved on to that big court in the sky, so feel free to spread your own theory. Well, I'm not on the court in the big sky, and I know why it was named, so I have to contend with this. I do this primarily because my mother came up with the game, the name for the game, and has never been given credit. Even my father didn't give her credit. I don't know why they divorced. But it's her little piece of history, and I think she deserves recognition for it. And so, and you know, so many times you've heard somebody say, well, that's not true. And you say, I was there. Yeah, it is true. So, anyway. Now, I've got visual aids here. Okay. This is what basically we played pickleball with. Somebody cut the end off this, I don't know why, but the handle was never built up. It was just a piece of plywood. And this is what we have today. Now, Governor Inslee signed this. And I'm thinking, well, gee, I could put that in the Rotary auction and bring big bucks over here, wouldn't it? I mean, nothing like Jay Inslee's signature to open wallets. Okay, maybe not. All right, where am I? Am I on my, you can run that second slide. These articles have just, in the last year come up. And you'll notice that in the Sports Illustrated, pickleball is moving. Not everybody was happy about that. I think you're a success when people are complaining. All of a sudden it was all good, and now it's, well, I've heard of people moving, suing because of that sound of that ball, blah, 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 blah. So we're good. Yeah. And I'll get into this. And you can do the next one. And these are the people I've talked. I want to point out Kinsey Laberton, who was the most pleasant person I talked to out of all of them. ESPN, I did a long interview. I don't know when that's going to be on, but I have never been so popular in my entire life. Now everybody wants to talk to me. They never did before. I want to talk a little bit about the three founders, and I think I'll start with Bill Bell, who you saw on the thing. Arguably, he and his wife were my parents' best friends. In fact, they named their youngest son after my father. And they lived in Seattle and then moved to Australia. First New York, then Australia, Indonesia, Hong Kong. But they would come back every summer and stay at our place on Bainbridge. And so Bill's sister, Nancy, was married to a guy named Dan Evans, who happened to be the governor at the time. And so the Evanses would come up. Well, we thought the coolest thing on earth was when the Evanses put in a pickleball court at the governor's mansion. It couldn't get any bigger than that, could it? I mean, that was just about as cool as could be. As far as Barney McCallum goes, he really deserves most of the credit for having this game be what it is today. He did all the hard work of putting together that package. He had the pickleball company. He ran it out of his business. He was an incredibly creative and very funny guy. And he had a guy going out to schools, sporting good events, trying to sell this game. And, they just slugged for years. This went on. And a lot of schools, I think, picked it up because it was so cheap. And you can play it inside or outside. And I have had more people say, I played it in school. Well, that takes time, but I think we're hitting our stride. As for my father, he was kind of a camp counselor at heart. He just loved games and loved people up, doing, and moving. And, that picture of him with two different shoes wasn't that unusual. And I could talk quite a bit on that. He actually kind of went to tennis at the end of his life, oddly enough, and played tennis a lot. He bought more tennis rackets than anybody else in history because he would finish playing tennis, take the tennis racket, put it on top of the car, open the car, get in the car, drive off, and if he'd bothered to look in his rearview mirror, he'd see his tennis racket flying off the car. as an aside, he was living on the East Coast a lot back then, and my grandmother was still alive. She wanted to have the family for Easter dinner, and she wanted to go for a drive. So we went, borrowed a friend's car, picked us all up, and we all went around, driving around Queen Anne Hill, looking at old family homes. You know, it was lots of fun. Anyway, we go back to, she lived in a retirement home, and parked the car, and then he went back down to take it back to his friend, and they were really busy because it was Easter, and he said, I'll get the car. I know when I'll get the car. Gets in the car, drives out to Magnolia to his friend's house and said, here, Dick, here's your car. And he goes, that's not my car. He drove very carefully back downtown. So that was my bad. I guess I'm not going to go on and on. I think I have to tell you that my family and I are astounded by what's going on. It's overwhelming. You know, there's talk of it being in the Olympics, and that's not just talk. It's a real possibility. And, you know, this dumb little game we played on Bainbridge Island, I have about a dozen pictures of us playing. They're all from the same day. You know, that's how important it was. Yeah. That's how that was the only record we have. So we just never imagined that it would become this thing. But I'll kind of leave you with when Teresa and I went on a river cruise down the Danube several years ago. And we were seated at a table, and this guy said, see old Harold over there? He's got a brace on. He hurt his arm playing pickleball. Well, the guy speaking didn't know who I was, and I didn't know who Harold was. So I went over and sat down with him, and I said, did you really hurt your arm playing pickleball? He goes, yeah. And I said, so I kind of explained the whole thing to him, and he says, I got to tell you, pickleball has saved my life. He's 93. I get to play 3 times a week. He said, the best thing is, it's the socialization. I am with people that I normally wouldn't be interacting with. The young people, older people. And I can play. And it's saved my life. And I thought, you know, if my father could hear that, it would just make us day. Because it was never about money. It was just about people having fun and getting something out of it other than, monetary. It's one of the good things in life. And I think the thing too, people have said because you're in such close proximity, you can't be angry at the people, So it's a friendly thing, and let's hope it always stays that way. I don't know if you have any questions. Yes. Have no idea. I don't know why the name is the kitchen. I know why they did that, because there was a guy named Dick Brown who was 6'4", would stand up there at the net and cram it down people's throats. That's when we made the rule. You had to let it bounce, and then you could go in there. Yes? How often do you play each week? It was 30 years ago. Isn't that shameful? Yeah, pretty much. You never know, So, anyway. Oh, God. Dimensions of the court. 44 long, 20 wide. Same as a badminton court, Thank you. I'll probably think of something and go, damn it, I wish I'd said that. So, is that your parade magazine you brought in?
Yes.
Okay, you can have it.
No, I brought one too.
Okay, so I'm going to burn it.
I wanted to know if everything in that magazine article was true, so I brought it along. But
It is not true.
it is not true. We learned that today. Hey, thank you, Frank. That was enlightening. It was fun, and what a great sport. I think I might have to take it up after all. So, again, how many people in here are playing pickleball right now? Raise your hands. I mean, not right this moment. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. But I do have a ball and a couple rackets up here, so we could do that. How many are going to start the game, do you think? Oh, I got it. Oh, look at this. Good. Very convincing, Frank. Thank you. Okay. Next week's program, we're going to go surfing. We're going to have some Beach Boys music playing in the background, and we're going to learn about something that might be coming to Yakima or is in the process of coming to Yakima. As described as a new wave coming, Joey Lawrence Surf Park, and we'll be meeting here at the same time. The week after, we have the thrifty duo of Mike Johnson and Aaron Ruff, Union Gospel Mission and Salvation Army. They're going to talk to us about the benefits of thrift stores, and I think there's been increased traffic at thrift stores in the recent years, and we'll learn about that, and I think there might even be an opportunity to do a little shopping. So bring a little extra money, not only for Sergeant of Arms, but there might be something in the pop-up thrift stores that would be exciting to you, and you could buy it and contribute to a good cause. So those are the next, that's the week after, and the week after that, we're going to learn about Central Washington geology from Nick Zentner. I have heard him speak once. I think he's come to the club a number of times. Pretty amazing guy, very knowledgeable, brings geology to life. I took two geology courses in college, and I didn't really get inspired by it. But later on in my life, as I drove from Portland to Yakima, back and forth many times, and I looked at the geology of the gorge and the formations that would thrust, down to the river or from the river up, and it's just amazing as you look at it. And I thought, why didn't my professor take me out on a field trip and let me see things firsthand and describe them in front of me right there? And I might have gotten a better grade in both classes. But Nick will inspire us, I'm sure. And after that, let's see, we have a youth exchange with Carrie and Rebecca after the meeting. So please stay for that if you're on that committee. And no further business. We are adjourned. Thanks for coming. Woohoo! Oh, gotta get my paddle. Okay.